Right, today's lesson is all about fairway woods, how they can benefit your game, and 3 ways they can benefit your game. Let's have a look right now. Okay, so benefit number 1 to your game, a fairway wood. Sometimes we're not always comfortable with teeing off with a driver. So on this hole here, I've not been hitting the fairway that frequently, so I decided today to opt for my 5 wood. Like I say, it's a benefit to us because it's a little bit easier to hit. There's 8 more degrees loft on this fairway wood than there is my driver. So sometimes we would hear them called like, oh, this is my fairway finding club. Whenever you get a little bit nervous or you're struggling with a particular hole, you could pull your fairway wood out. It doesn't necessarily mean because it's named a fairway wood, it has to always be hit off that fairway. You can peg it up on the tee here like I've just done and fire one away. It's going to get you confidence, you're still going to get a pretty good distance out of it, and generally, like I say, you would probably maybe find a few more fairways if it's the one that fills you with that enthusiasm and that confidence to hit it. So if you're struggling with your driver at the moment and you keep pulling it out and keep hitting it in the trouble, keep knocking it out of bounds, whatever it may be, go down to your 3 wood, go down to your 5 wood. You'll probably notice that it won't be too far behind your driver anyway. Peg it up like you would do an iron, pretty much just a little bit above the ground. Don't get it pegged up like you would do your driver. Peg it up just above, so maybe half of the golf ball is sitting on the top line of the golf club, and then from there just make your normal fairway wood swing. You're going to sweep up on it ever so slightly, so we would see that in setup we'd have the tiniest bit of tilt and we'd just get a little grazing of the tee like we would do with our driver. But from there, it's a great way for you to start finding more fairways. Stop pulling the driver and feeling nervous. Pull your fairway wood, get down on in play and start using it to your benefit off the tee. Okay, so the second use of our fairway woods, and pretty much what it says on the tin, getting it off the fairway. But what we've got to understand is when we get onto the fairway, is the lie appropriate for us to use it? Because I've seen quite a lot of my lessons think, oh well, it's on the fairway, it's a fairway wood, I'm just going to use it. Now, if it's sat up nicely like these two are here, where it's perched a little bit on a bit of tufty grass, brilliant. And even sometimes out of the semi-rough, it's almost even better because it's got that little cushion underneath the ball that you can just pick the ball up off. So I think the first thing that we've got to assess when we get down onto the fairway, is it fantastic? Is the lie great? Then yes, I can use it. If my ball was pretty much 2 yards further here, or a yard, my pitch mark where it's landed, because of the dew on the ground today, there's a little bit of a pitch mark here, so the ball would be sat down. So as I'd look at that, I would think, well, on this one here, I can see all the ball, I can see everything that I want underneath it, as opposed to the one over here, it's sat down below the face now, so it's not going to be ideal for me to hit it. So when we do get into hitting our fairway wood off the fairway, make sure that lie is good. If it's out of a divot, don't do it. If it looks, you know, scrappy, horrible, muddy, you know, just not a good lie, don't use your fairway wood. Use it when the lie is right for it. Don't do it when it is inappropriate. From there then, as we actually do it, what we don't want to do is get into the trap of trying to help it up off the fairway. It's got loft on it. Like I say, my fairway wood, my 5 wood, is an 18-degree loft. So as I actually hit this, it's got ample loft to get the ball up in the air. What I want to try and make sure I do is always just make a little bit of a brushing motion on the turf. Because I've placed the ball further up my stance and it's only about 3/4 of an inch behind my lead heel now, as I make the swing, it's not as if I'm going to take a big divot like I would do with a pitching wedge. It's only going to be a little bit of a brushing motion, and see that the ball would pop up and I get my desired distance. So let's give these a go and get them up in the air. So this is the sort of shot you would see if you were trying to help it up in the air. I've selected it in a poor lie, and then I'll make the swing where I actually try to lift it up, and what we see from there is it pops out absolutely horrible, almost to the top, and goes bouncing off down the right hand side of the fairway. Not what we want. Vice versa, if we were to now understand that I'm going to try and make that little bit of a divot, get that little bit of a brush, because my lie is good enough now to hit it out of here as we go through that one. Absolutely smokes, that should be on the green. Yeah, pitched about 10 feet up onto the green, all because I accepted that the lie was good enough and I accepted that I wanted to take a divot. Let's go and take a look at the third and final use for your fairway wood. Guys, just before we get into the third and final part here, I want you to hit that subscribe button down below for me, turn on the bell notification so you're enjoying your free golf lessons every week. I want you to get better, and you're going to do that by hitting this button down below. Let's take a look at number 3. Okay, so the third and final use for your fairway wood, and it's a fantastic little use this, and even your hybrid's great for this sort of shot, but it's one that I found when I was playing links golf recently that I relied upon a little bit more when your chipping didn't quite feel on point and the lies weren't fantastic. This was a great way of getting an initial little bit of launch and letting the ball run out towards the hole. So as we can see, we've got 2 balls literally 3 inches apart with 3 yards of fringe to get over before we get onto the putting surface. And on the good lie, all I would do normally would just be allow my putter to do the job of rolling the ball out towards the hole, and do that because I know how it's going to react when I hit it. But for the second lie that we can see is quite nasty and the ball's almost sat below the club face, I'm not sure how that would come out with a putter. Would it jump? Would it just be a little bit dead when I hit it? Would I thin it? I'm not too convinced of how I could control the roll. But with my fairway wood, what I'm able to do is take a smaller stance, like I would adopt my putter stance, a little bit closer together, go down towards the bottom of the grip and just put a little bit of weight towards my lead foot, and then just rock it like a putting stroke. And the reason for this is, like I say, my fairway wood, my 5 wood, has got 18 degrees of loft. So what it'll do is get that initial little bit of lift out of the horrible lie. It'll pop it up a little bit more than my putter would do, so it takes it out of this divot that it's sat in. Then it would just have a couple of bounces and then it would run on like a putt. So instead of me trying to gouge my lob wedge out or be uncertain of how my putter's going to react, I can adopt this small putting like stance, go down to the bottom of the grip, rely on the loft to do the lifting, and then just make my small putting stroke to see that it would get the lift out and pop the ball out and let it run towards the hole. So let's give that a go. We've got a smaller stance, we've gone down the grip, we're leaning into the left. And even there, as I took it away, because of how bad the lie was, the club snagged, but I was still able to get it out and get it to about 6 feet there, which from that pretty dodgy lie is a good result. So if you're someone who's a little bit nervy when you're chipping, when you find yourself in a little bit of a dodgy lie around the green, given that you're not going to be going over a bunker or through water or anything like that, if you've just got something where you would generally play a little bump and run or putter but you don't feel like you can get the connection, the fairway wood with its bigger sole, a little bit more loft, is a great way to pop it out of those poor lies and get it running like you would do with your putter. So 3 ways to use that fairway wood. Number 1, if you're struggling off the tee, get your fairway finder out, get on more fairways. When you are on the fairway, make sure the lie's right, make sure that you're taking a little bit of a divot, and if you've got a dodgy lie around the green, use this as your secret weapon to make sure that you can still see that you're chipping it close when you're around the greens. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this lesson this week. If you have, do remember to hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification, and I'll see you in the next lesson to improve your game.